All right, guys, it is so great to have all of you here. I was rushing around like crazy, doing all different kinds of things to get ready for the holiday season, basically going shopping and doing a whole bunch of stuff. But I wanted to make sure that I was here for this. You know, we all make sacrifices to be there as a community. We all make sacrifices to be there for our loved ones. And essentially, that is what we have here. We have a family of individuals who really care about this project. And that's why we have over 80 people on this Zoom right now, because you could be off doing something else. But at the same time, you are here with us, and you are here to see the direction of where this is going. You are here to see where energy is going. You are here to understand the value of what we have in terms of this opportunity. And again, as I have said this before, we are just getting started. And on top of that, we as a unit, as a unified nation, we need to actually do this together. Remember, I bought coins early, Duane bought coins early. Nobody was given any free coins, right? Alan, no one was given any free coins. We did this all out of our own hearts and to build this community together. And so now we ask that we do all of these things to create a unified effort so that we can have this going forward to give us years to come of this platform, not only surviving, but thriving. So with that, I am going to turn it over to my good friend, Duane Noble. Duane, take it away.
All right, Merry Christmas, DeFi Nation, Merry Christmas, Energy community. It is so good to be back here today on Saturday. And I want to get some interaction this Zoom. Before the Zoom, I couldn't play it on the recording, but I shared with everybody some Scott Stapp music. A lot of people think that Shinedown's my favorite band. It's actually a really close second. Creed and Scott Stapp really hit deep for me. And a lot of people don't realize that Scott Stapp, after Creed, went on to create other music that wasn't picked up by the mainstream, but it's absolutely fantastic. And you know, the music industry, the industry really did him dirty. But his music is just so fantastic. Did you guys dig that? Did you guys dig that music to open up? Come on, we got to hear some comments.
The music was great. I mean, you know, that's my generation, essentially, like 90s rock, 90s grunge. I mean, that was really what was great for me. And, you know, I think Creed is an incredible band. I've always loved Creed myself. So yeah, definitely. And Shinedown's awesome too.
I love how Creed, I'll just say this. I just want to say one thing. I love how Scott Stapp, I'm a Christian person, but I love how Scott Stapp really pushes those boundaries. But you can relate as a Christian, but you can relate as all religions and all peoples of all over the world to his lyrics. They are so unbelievably powerful that I think Scott Stapp just, his lyrics give you a better understanding for life. And that's absolutely tremendous. So I encourage you guys, go look up his stuff that he did after Creed. Just go to YouTube, type in Scott Stapp, you'll see his music. There's all of it's great. None of it's bad at all. All of it's fantastic. I want to go ahead and start by reading that letter. If you guys didn't see the message, I did write a letter in my message. And what I said in this letter was, yes, things have taken longer to develop than planned, but I am confident we can be prosperous and get to our destination if we all take a positive step forward. 2023 will be all about building value for energy, and we hold the keys to create the destiny that we desire. We must not be fearful or timid. There is no winning with regret. While critics criticize and cast doubts, we must rise above the level that which they never imagined achievable, even by their idols. Fear and uncertainty is the problem. The amalgamation of our community will be the solution. We must be cohesive and united. It is time we forge ahead and claim victory together as one energy, That was my letter to you all. And I really challenge you to really read that 2-3 times over and really pick up the meaning. Now, I understand, guys, in this time, guys, in this day and age, it's no secret. There's a lot of people that's fearful, right? Everybody has fear. There's a lot of people that are fearful. And, fear is not necessarily a bad thing. But, you look at the crypto market, and the crypto market, it's just been a tumultuous year with inflation going through the roof, the interest rates being risen in the stock market pretty much crashing this year. Then you got the crypto market that crashed down as well, and it's crashing down as we speak. And so we live in a time of uncertainty, and then people worry about, oh my gosh, what's going on with energy? Am I in good hands? Am I going to lose everything? And I want to answer those questions. I want to answer those questions for you, because right now is not the time to fear. Right now is the time to make your fear work for you. Right now is the time to build the value of energy. And we're going to talk about that here a little bit. I'm going to play a very short video about fear and what we must do together as one energy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some updates. And then we're going to talk about some projections and where the price could possibly go. So I'm going to cover all those things. But right now I'm going to go ahead and play that video about fear, because I want you guys to understand you don't have to be fearful. You are part of a community that succeeds together. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to go ahead and play that video.
Go where the fear is. At the end of the day, what this world needs is people who are different. Anything is possible.
Tucked within the message of this old letter written in 1965, a short string of words, this little piece of advice casually offered within the surrounding statements. These few and powerful words that I think we need to hear today. It was American artist Sol LeWitt who wrote this letter to his good friend, 𝗕𝗏𝗂, who was struggling with self-doubt. Within the letter, he was pushing her to just stop thinking, worrying, looking over your shoulder, wondering, doubting, fearing, hurting, hoping for some easy way out. He said, stop it, and just do. Then he writes this little line I hope we can all hear the way we need to. If you fear, make it work for you. We need to hear it, don't we? How else do we overcome what Ralph Waldo Emerson said defeats more people than any other one thing in the world? Fear. Because it's real. And there's no getting around the fact that it will show up. It should show up. Sometimes we fear for good reason. And sometimes we fear for absolutely no good reason at all. So this is about using fear to open your life, not close it in.
Are we going to sit there and wait until somebody leaves one of these doors of opportunity for us to fly through? Or are we going to start knocking on these doors? Even though we might be scared of what's on the other side? Do we go where the fear is? We misunderstand this emotion, fear. There are easy statements: fear nothing, be fearless, rise above it. But sometimes there is no rising. In fact, that's not why fear exists, to just get over it. Instead, it gives you a single choice: move further away or move closer. We hear that voice in our head, the story in our head. You can't speak in front of all those people. They're all staring at you. You can't keep up with them. They're smarter than you. They're faster. They're stronger. You're not qualified enough to apply for that job. Someone else is going to get it anyways. You're not a leader. You never were. Yes, we go where the fear is. And I'll tell you why. Because all of us have dreams. And those dreams are real and they can come true.
Fear is real. It's just that the story we're telling ourselves isn't. Our minds race. They fill in the blanks. We run from a made-up worst-case scenario that may not be that bad after all. So instead of all that, as the old letter says, stop it and just do. You see, if you fear, make it work for you.
We don't need the lie. We don't need the bravado or the charade. People have fear. And sometimes we accept it, and sometimes we move through it. Adele has a fear of large audiences. Richard Branson has a fear of public speaking. Jennifer Aniston has a fear of flying. It hasn't stopped them. Could you imagine if it had?
So what if this next chapter of your life, of your work, of your relationships was focused around these few words, written in 1965? If you fear, make it work for you. Because there's no getting around it. So feel it. Accept it. Question it. And then stop and just do.
All right, what did you guys think of that video? Was that a message that you needed to hear today? I want to know, was that a message that you needed to hear today? I think, guys, I think that was just absolutely a fantastic message. And I hope that that makes you, that message makes you feel better about what's going on in the world today and also in your own lives. Now, I want to go ahead, I want to get started. I want to give a few updates. One thing is, guys, I'm going to take a step back from the development side, but that does not mean that I am stepping away. Quite the contrary. I'm actually going to be, I'm actually going to be building value for energy, building value and also cash flow for energy stakers. And that's what I'm going to be focused on. You know, we really look back at the year of 2022, and I think the year of 2022, if we could sum this up, I would call it the year of growth. Why? Because we grew our community. We grew our community. It was really setting the foundations in place. And if you've noticed how we've grown this community is much, much different than anything else. I mean, guys, we could have a lot more numbers than we have now, but we choose to promote this in a way to people as a real project, much more refreshing than anything else, because it's really important that the people that have energy understand the power of what they hold. So it's really important that we have those key people as our foundation. That's what's important. We want those people that really can set the expectation, can contribute, can really bring the fire. We want you guys to be able to excel. So I look back and, you know, you looked at the move that we made early on in the year. I think it was a pretty good one. I think everybody will agree. We had flushed out pretty much most of the sellers and we migrated over to Polygon. We flushed out most of the sellers and we migrated over to Polygon, but we didn't migrate over to Polygon until we flushed out the sellers, and those loyal holders were rewarded for it. And so 2022 really became the year of growth in setting those foundational cornerstones in place. I believe, though, 2023 will be the year of facing fear and building value. Facing fear and building value for energy and the energy community. And so, you know, we have a choice. Okay, we're at where we're at now, and it's no secret the liquidity of energy is low. And by the way, I've had a lot of questions. What is the liquidity? What is liquidity? What is liquidity? Let me show you. You can actually go to QuickSwap on the Polygon side, and you can go on the Ethereum side on Uniswap. And what you have here is you have a liquidity pool, okay? It acts kind of like a cookie jar per se. So in the traditional market, you have an order book with people saying, hey, I'll buy here. People say, no, I'll sell here. You have an order book. In the DeFi market, your order book's basically your liquidity pool. So if you want to know what the liquidity of energy is, you can easily view it on QuickSwap. And you can go over here to Uniswap and view it as well, okay? This is USDC, this is energy. So the pool is 108 here on Ethereum because part of the liquidity is in dollars and part of the liquidity is in energy, okay? Same way on QuickSwap. So this is how DeFi works. This is what the liquidity is. And so yes, the liquidity is low. But one thing I want to let you guys know about energy, and this is what I find so fascinating, and you're going to see this here in a few minutes, but it really wouldn't matter with energy if the liquidity went to zero. I mean, now I don't think it's going to go to zero, but hypothetically speaking, let's face it, does it really matter if the liquidity even goes to zero? And the answer is no, it really doesn't. Why is that? Okay, now I don't think it'll go to zero. I want to make that clear. But the reason is because energy is based on real business and real commerce. It's based on the movement of money, not the endless recruitment of people. Much, much different. In the end, what really carries energy are the revenues and royalties from the dApps that are in its ecosystem. Okay, I want you to remember that. So as these dApps, as energy stakers started, let's say hypothetically say it went down to zero. As energy stakers start earning these royalties, providing, and there's no guarantees, they become substantial and more substantial, the demand for energy will be on. And when the demand is on, the liquidity will be there because the price will shoot up if there's a huge demand. Look, if something's sitting at zero, but it's paying you a cash flow just for holding it, how long do you think it's going to be down to zero? Probably not very long, right? So the thing, the challenge is the liquidity, but the solution is just to go out and build value for energy. And I think you guys got to understand just how important that is to build value. So 2023 will be the year of building value. look, when the unlock period happens, we're probably not going to have too many community members that want to come in at a high price until there's those royalties are substantial. So why even mess around with that when we can go work on building value through 𝗪stake as well as other dApps? Now, we still want to mention that on the back end. Yes, if we have the opportunity to grow our community, we still want to grow our community. But that's not going to be the focus. The focus is really on building value, because if you build value, they will come. If you build value, they will come. I think everybody realizes that, right? Is that point? Do you guys understand do you guys understand that point? Did I make that clear? Peter, did you have anything to say on that as well?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's really about basically, you know, what are we going to be doing? You know, 2022 was essentially really about getting everything in line as far as, you know, getting our Ethereum liquidity pool staking element going, and then in the back end of 2022, essentially really starting out the Polygon side, and then people migrating from Ethereum to Polygon. And now that we're at that point where we're getting to that unlocking period, where really we're days away from essentially that happening, what really has to be brought to mind is really what is going to be happening in 2023. And in my honest opinion, there are going to be other dApps that are going to be built into the energy system that will enable people that have their 25 energy staked to be able to benefit from those royalties that are essentially given. And so these are the things that we have to consider. Now, the other thing we have to consider is that we are a decentralized community, right? So no one's in control, in essence, of anything. There is no CEO, there's no CTO, there is no CMO of anything. You know, Duane and myself are just essentially really advisors or marketers, really, as you say, to this platform. And we bring awareness to the community. We build the awareness to the community. We build the ecosystem to show people the value that energy can bring for the future. And we all work together as one, as a unified group, to make sure that this can be sustainable for the future. Let's just face it, right? So let's just be as blunt as possible. If everybody goes and just sells all their coins, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is you're going to have an energy system where the price is going to dip very, 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 very low. And what's going to happen is people aren't going to be as encouraged, because they're going to say to themselves, well, you know, I sold, but this person didn't sell, and what's so else? And they're going to say, well, why is this happening, right? So what we want to do is we want to, and the reason why Duane shared that video about fear is because literally there is a tremendous amount of fear in the market right now. I mean, you look at everything that's happening with FTX, what happened with Luna, what happened with even with the USDT. There's a lot of people that have talks about the USDT saying that is extremely manipulated, and they are just printing money when it comes to that, right? So I want you guys to understand something. Now, although everything hasn't really worked the way we wanted it to, and deliverables haven't been delivered really to the point where we wanted to this year, there are certain things which are very, you know, equipped to the accordance that we are going to be doing going forward. Obviously, 𝗪stake is one of them. Yes, energy and 𝗪stake are totally separate entities, but at the same time, the energy ecosystem and the energy people that are involved essentially came to 𝗪stake to help build out that community, right? So we help to build out that community in 𝗪stake. They are separate entities. I cannot make that any clearer, but at the same time, we now have that ability to benefit from things that will be happening in 𝗪stake. And if you guys saw that Wire episode 2, you know that there's a tremendous amount of things that are going to be coming in StarStake. I don't know if you guys saw it, but just really quickly, let me just touch on this. They had the owner of Bad Crypto Podcast. If you don't know who that is a very, very, very famous guy in cryptocurrency. And he basically interviews anybody and everybody, and they do some tremendous, tremendous amount of stuff in crypto. And so to have someone like that to basically talk about StarStake and essentially where this is going and where Web3 is going to go, and now us having the ability to benefit from that as holders, right? As holders who are staking more than 25 energy, now that gives us that capability as well. So this is extremely important and beneficial to understand, because guess what? I mean, if you decide to sell your coins and you're like 35 coins, and then you're all of a sudden under that 25 threshold, and then you want to buy in, but when you're buying in, that token is worth a lot more. You know, that's really the choice that you're going to have to make at that point in time. But, you know, we want to create awareness, but at the same time, you know, just kind of to let you guys know that we are moving in the right direction. It's just that we need to actually get this to where it should be, right? And so, you know, I want you guys to understand that, you know, myself and Duane and other people and great members of this community and are here. Neil is here. Jason is here. You know, we are here to guide you. They've done tremendous amounts of work with their presentations that they have put in as community members. And remember, we're all community members doing this together, right? So I cannot stress that enough. We are literally all doing this together. So, you know, I want you guys to take that to heart, because there is a tremendous amount of speculation that is going on in the market. Even if you look at one other thing I'll talk about is you look at Binance, look at the FUD that was being spread around with Binance, right? Now people are saying that CZ is actually not having the correct amount of available funds that are necessary to actually perform the audit that is needed. So what happens then? What, like if energy goes to zero and Binance goes to zero, like then what, right? Because then a lot of other projects are going to suffer. Then what happens? So then what happens is we can build our community and say, hey, look, this has done this problem, but look how we are flourishing here. Look how we are going to build this up organically. And these are the things that are going to be very beneficial going forward in 2023. Go ahead, Duane.
All right. So with that being said, you know, we really have this choice. We have this choice that we can, you know, bitch and complain and why and cry that things haven't happened sooner, or we can forge ahead and we can build value. That's the choice that the community has to make. You know, so I'm going to tell you this. We have a few people in here that I do know, you know, they have some medical emergencies, and I do know that they're needing to unstake and sell some. So what I'm asking you guys is, please, if you don't have to unsell, I mean, you don't have a medical emergency, you don't have to unsettle or unstake and sell, please consider holding firm so that other people, other community members who really need that right now can be taken care of. You know, they're the ones that can tap into the liquidity pool. So I just, you know, I want to let you guys know that, because I really care about this community, and I really want to see us win together. And that's a, you know, that's a really big thing. Also, if you see the price coming down, don't panic. Guys, I'm a professional trader. I'm going to tell you what happens if you panic and you sell off and you think, oh, I'm going to get this lower. What ends up happening is the price comes way down and you think, oh, well, I got to sell. And then you see it come back up and you think, you know, oh my gosh, I'm going to get it lower. Time you get your order filled, most of the time that price is much higher than where you bought it. I want you to understand that, you know, it may take a little time for energy to really reach its true value. It may take a little time. It might take a year, 2 years. It's, that's what I figure. And I'll tell you why here in a second. But it may take 1.5 to 2 years for energy to really see its true value. Because what I believe will happen is once those royalty payments are so substantial, just can't take it anymore, you'll see the price rocket up if that happens. I believe that's going to happen. Now, that's not a guarantee. I want to make that clear. But, you'll see the price just rocket up because everybody will be scrambling in because they see how this royalty cash flow is. Guys, I'm going to tell you, it's a grind to achieve success. But once you achieve success, and I know many of you guys haven't, had that big moment in your life, and that's okay. I want to explain to you how it works. It's a grind to get there. But when you achieve success, it happens, it seems like it happens in the blink of an eye. Literally, it seems like it happens in the blink of an eye. You'll think, oh my gosh, you won't even remember you'll remember the grind, but it'll make the grind seem like it was didn't take as long as it really took, because success happens at warp speed. And it's pretty awesome when you experience it. And I really hope that you guys in our community can really experience that. It may take 1.5 years, it may take a couple of years to experience it, but the feeling that you get when you experience it is like anything other. And I think you guys will really enjoy it, providing we get there. So everybody asked about the unlock period. Alan this week, okay, Alan will be doing a Zoom on Wednesday to update the community on exactly how that will work. Okay, he's going to be doing a Zoom. I believe it's Wednesday. Don't hold me to that. He will be putting out the word. He will be doing a Zoom this week to announce what his plans are for the unlock period. Now, don't ask me, well, what are the plans? Because I'll be honest with you, I do not currently know what those plans are. I myself do not currently know what those plans are. So, at the current time. So don't come to me saying, okay, what is it going to be, Duane? What is it? Because I don't know. He's going to update the community. He's going to address the community on Wednesday, what his plan is for the unlock period. I believe it's Wednesday. Is that right, Peter? Did he say Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. I know Alan though. So wait for the word to get out. Also, I had a chat with Alan, guys. I know that there's the support issues sometimes take a while to get taken care of. And I had a serious talk with Alan, and I said, look, these have to be taken care of. And the problem really has been that the lead blockchain developer has been so busy helping StarStake with developing that he hasn't had much time to tend to the support issues right away. So when minter drops don't happen right on time, or your coins don't show up because of a display issue, and he has to get on top of that. And I know sometimes people freak out. And so it's been kind of rough the past few months because he's been helping out over there, and we need him over here as well. And so I said to Alan, I said, look, this is so important to me. If you guys notice how I handle support, is when you have an issue, I don't wait. I get to it now. I mean, you guys have noticed this. Sure, if there's one thing you've noticed about me over the past year, you know that when somebody needs help and support, I get to it now. I don't wait, because I know that it's important to people, and I know that it builds confidence. And I told Alan, I said, it is so vitally important that if there's ever a support issue that pops up or whatnot, that you get them taken care of, because it may seem like a small thing at the moment, but it builds confidence within the community when they see people being taken care of and things getting done. So I want you guys to know that I really fight for the energy community. And I also want you to know, Alan, he's a really good dude. He really is. Alan is a really, really good guy. And I'm very thankful, you know, for him. And, you know, I do believe, you know, I do know that I feel like Alan should be more involved sometimes, but, you know, I also know, you know, Alan as a person and, you know, how good of a guy he is. And, you know, he's not the best communicator always. And, you know, we all have our faults, but I just want to let you guys know that Alan will be having a Zoom this Wednesday. And guys, he really is. He truly is a good guy. I mean, I can't even tell you how good of a dude that guy is. So I look forward to that Zoom that Alan's getting ready to do. So, like I said, we can either take, we can cry, we can complain that we're not where we want to be right now, or we can forge ahead. We can forge ahead to new frontiers and build value for energy. And I'm joining all of you guys. After first year, I will be focusing on growing value, building value for energy. And I agree, I encourage you, I invite all of you guys on this journey to help us build value. In fact, after the first of the year, I'm going to have a good Zoom, and I have something special that I'm going to be sharing with you all. And I think you're really going to like it. Now, it probably won't be until after the second weekend of January. So right around probably the second weekend of January, somewhere in there. My birthday, I like to celebrate my birthday and then get back into it. My birthday is around the 17th of January, and sometimes that falls on a weekend. But I will be back next year with a special Zoom after the new year. And I think you guys are really going to like this. I think you guys are really going to like how I plan on building value for the energy community. So who wants to forge ahead? Let me ask you this. Who wants to forge ahead? Who wants to forge ahead here in chat? If you want to forge ahead, I want to show who wants to see the potential of what energy could be. Who wants to see that? Who wants to forge ahead and who wants to see that? You want me to show you what the value would be? Could potentially be. Let's get into it. Now, one thing I want to let you guys know before I get into this, okay, before I share with you what the value could be. The star stake royalties. It's really important for you guys to understand this concept. I saw somebody up here that had a question, and I told them I would get to it here in a second. I think Fiona did. I'm trying to scroll back up to this question, and I will take questions at the end, but this was a really good question. Fiona asked, does star stake use the energy ecosystem? Do star stake royalties flow into energy? So I'm going to answer that now, because it's really important for the community to understand how this ecosystem works. Star stake is separate from energy, but star stake actually does not pay royalties to energy stakers. Yet energy stakers get all of the volume and revenue that goes through star stake. And you say, well, how? How does that happen? Because it's the creators, the IP creators, that are paying the incentivized energy community a royalty, basically, for advertising, because there's this incentivized community. And so when it was hard-coded in the contract, what happens is when the creators come on star stake and they agree to the terms and conditions, they agree to pay the energy community 5% of all the revenues that go through there. That's gross revenues. Guys, we're not talking about after profit or after this or whatnot. That's literally gross volume, gross revenues. I don't think people understand just how huge that is. That's a really big thing. So 5% of all the gross revenue goes through 5% of all the gross volume that goes through Star Stake. Energy stakers earn that. Okay, they earn it from the IP creators on Star Stake, the intellectual property creators, because when they agree to the contract, they agree to do a buck drop to the incentivized energy community. So I want you guys to understand actually how it works. Yes, that may seem minute and small, but it is a compliant, and it is the compliant way to really explain what energy is and how Star Stake interacts with energy. It's actually the creators that are paying, as people purchase their SNFTs, that are paying the energy community the royalties. It's pretty powerful, guys. So all the volume that goes through Star Stake has to go to some IP creator. That means that energy community gets 5% of all the gross volume that goes through Star Stake, basically. Okay, pretty freaking awesome, if you ask me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some hypothetical projections. Now, before I show these to you, I want to make this clear. This is not a guarantee. You could lose all your money. Do we understand that these are hypothetical projections? I got to make that clear for the critics. Do you guys understand that? Okay, give me some yeses. I got to see some yeses here. Oh, there's a lot coming through, but I was still stuck up front, up ahead. Okay, so these are hypothetical projections. This is if volume, this amount of volume went through Star Stake, what, how much royalties would somebody earn? Well, let me go ahead and share that with you. Okay, hypothetical projections, and I'm going to explain what these numbers are. So the volume that goes through Star Stake, energy stakers, 4% of that volume goes to energy stakers with 25 or more. Okay, 1% of that volume goes to energy stakers with 500 or more. But what the new contract actually does, what they were able to enable the new contract to do on Polygon, is simply brilliant. Okay, many of you have asked, what if I have 75? What if I have 125? What if I have 150 energy? Do I have to unstake and move it to 25 in 25 increments to separate wallets? No, you do not. Because the system will go ahead and it will block it off for every 25 energy that you have. Okay, and for every 500 energy that you have for those higher stakers. I want that to be clear. So if you have 500 energy, you would get your 25 stake times 20, plus you would get your 500 stake as well. And I think this is just brilliant, because there's a lot of people that have more energy, and if they want to hold, you know, they have the ability to earn, to be rewarded for being loyal, and earn much more royalties. So these numbers, however many you have in increments of 25, just go ahead and multiply these numbers by that. So if Star Stake did 1 million in volume, okay, 1 million, that's it. And when I say 1 million, people go, in what time frame? Guys, that could be 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 1 month. Okay, you pick the time frame. This is how much people earn for every so much that goes through Star Stake. So I want to go through these numbers. If $1 million went through Star Stake, energy stakers with 25 staked would earn $2. And if they had 500 energy staked, for every 500, they'd earn 60. And I'm going to show you where I get these numbers here in a second. If 10 million flowed through Star Stake, for energy stakers with 25 would have $20, would get $20 for every 25. and they would get 600 for every 500 staked. If 100 million went through star stake, energy stakers for every 25 would get $200, and for every 500 staked, they would get $6,000. But this is where it gets really big, because I believe, and I think a lot of people on here will agree, star stake has the potential to do billions of dollars with a B. Will it take time to get there? Yes, it will. Okay, and there's no guarantees. We may not get there, but I think we all realize just how robust this platform is, and the potential to really to make it to those higher levels is definitely there with star stake. It's just an amazing technology. I don't think anybody will disagree. So if $1 billion flowed through star stake, for every 25 energy you have staked, it would be worth $2,000. Every 5,000 or every 500 energy staked would be worth $60,000. And if $10 billion went through star stake, for every 25 energy you have staked, it would be worth about $20,000 in royalty cash flow, and every 500 staked would be worth about $600,000, okay, in royalty cash flow. And I want to show you how I got those numbers, okay, so you understand, because you know, if you tell somebody one thing, that's one thing, but if you show them the math and the proof, that's a whole nother, right? So I want to take this 10 billion example, and what we have, if you go to Polygon, you can clearly see I connected this. Oh, am I not sharing my screen? Hold on. Here, I thought I was sharing my screen now. That whole time. I have these projections here, okay? These projections. Am I sharing the right screen? Let me make sure. Okay. So how I got these numbers, guys, if you go to the Polygon side, I have my wallet connected, but if you look right here, it'll tell you the number of coins in circulation. I don't know if any of you have paid attention to this. It's about 470,000 energy. 470,000 energy. And then we have about 30,000, actually a little less than 30,000 on the Ethereum side as well. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that's 500,000. That's 500, guys, there's only 500,000 energy in circulation. And there may not be much more than that. There might be a lot more than that. Depends how many people come in staking before the minting period. Really doesn't matter if anybody else comes in, because it just means more for all of us, basically. But I do believe, you know, especially as we approach the end of the minting period, you're going to see a lot of people fly in into energy, because star stake, you know, should be getting traction by then, and by that time you should also see royalty payments start being more and more substantial. You know, that's I would think that. So if you take 500, I got to get my calculator here, guys. If you take 500,000 and you divide that by 25, and keep in mind, you're going to have some odds and ends. This is like worst case scenario. This is if everybody had 25, all 25 blocks, you know, somebody held of energy. So that's 20,000, okay? 20,000 times 25 is 500,000. Okay, so there can be, you know, 20,000 blocks of 25 basically. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So let's say Star Stake did 10 billion in revenue. 10 billion, hundreds, thousands, millions, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, times 4% is 400 million. And if you divide that by 20,000, it equals $20,000, guys. 20,000 is what it equals, which if you look at my projections over here, my hypothetical projections, I should say. If you look at my hypothetical projections, 10 billion is $20,000 right here, okay? If you had for every 500 stake, you would earn 600,000. And then of course, you hit, if you ever hit 100 billion, for every 25 coin stake you have, you would earn $200,000. And for every 500 coin stake you had, you would earn $6 million, okay? If that scenario happened, we don't know. We don't know how much volume is going to go through StarStake. But I will say this, OpenSea did they were doing $5 billion a month in a very short amount of time. Now their volumes dropped down since then. And obviously when they were doing that volume, it was much different market times than we have right now. You know, when they were doing that volume, you didn't have the whole Luna thing, the FTX and all this other stuff. So it was much different market conditions, I should say. But once that confidence builds back and that industry hits huge numbers again, and I think it can because StarStake gives it a purpose. That's a big thing. So when that industry, the trust is really built back, I think you're really going to see the value, you know, soar tremendously, because people start trusting StarStake, and they went on the platform because they saw somebody else that jumped off the diving board, and then that person saw somebody else and somebody else, and so forth and so on. And you know, it takes a while for everybody to jump off the diving board. Some people have to look from the outside looking in, see how things are going. They work themselves closer, and then they get involved, and bam, they want to tell everybody, and then bam, and more and more people. This is how things are built. So, you know, we got to be realistic. Look, for StarStake to do these bigger numbers, even have, I think we're probably 1.5 to 2 years away, at least. I don't think anybody will disagree. Now, we may get surprised, and StarStake may do massive volume in the first 6 months, and we go, holy smoke, what just hit us? You know, that could happen. But you shouldn't prepare yourself like that's what's going to happen. If that happens, man, God bless us. But you really got to prepare yourself that, you know, energy, truth be told, to see its true value, we're probably a good at least 1.5 to 2 years out. And to see these really big numbers, you know, let's call it monthly or whatever, you know, you're probably 5 to 10 years out. You look at companies, for instance, Amazon, most people don't realize it took Amazon about 7 years before their true big evaluation caught up with Amazon. I mean, they went from like $30 all the way up to over 3,000, and they never looked back. I mean, it was incredible to watch, but it took them 7 years. But when they did it, it seemed like it happened very quickly. You also look at companies like Netflix. How many of you guys remember Netflix 10 years ago? You didn't have an app on your TV. Shoot, Netflix was a mail service for you to get movies in the mail. You pick your movie and they'd send it to you, and you'd watch the movie in the old DVD, right? You put it in the player, and then you put it back in the envelope, you'd send it back. Do you guys remember that? Netflix? Guys, that seems like yesterday, doesn't it? It really does. But since then, Netflix has grown, I mean, one of the biggest movers in history.
Hey, Duane.
Yeah.
Hey, Duane.
Yeah.
You know, I just wanted to touch on something really quickly. You know, back a couple of days ago, I had a very open and honest conversation with one of my friends who's very, very active in the cryptocurrency community. And he and I were basically kind of just talking about basically what's been going on with crypto. And, you know, one of the conclusions that we came about is there's so many solid platforms that people can join and can get involved with. But the biggest issue and the biggest hurdle and the biggest problem that many people are facing right now is the fact that what has really gone on is that people have been essentially spoiled to what cryptocurrency has provided, right? So you see a lot of these coins have basically, and projects have gone up, you know, drastically in value. And, you know, people are making millions and all of a sudden they're losing, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then you see other things where, you know, people are getting these promises of 2 or 3 or 4%, you know, a week or 5% a week, right? And that is essentially what has created this false narrative in the cryptocurrency community of that is what is to be expected. But in reality, really, number one, there are no guarantees because there is a tremendous amount of volatility in the crypto market, especially now. And the second thing is that there is no percentage that you can actually give to anything or to anyone, right? Or to any assessed value. So whatever is given or whatever is basically earned or whatever you receive is really should be considered a blessing of any kind, right? Because if you, I'm going to give you an example, okay? So let's just take this really quickly, okay? You go into Bank of America, you go into Chase as an example. If you have $10,000 that's sitting in a savings account, okay, you're going to earn 0.01%. That gives you $1 at the end of 1 year. Who's happy with earning $1 on $10,000? Let's think about that for a second. $1 on $10,000. That's essentially what you're getting. And it's not a lot, but that's what you can expect in a fiduciary market. But in the crypto market, essentially everyone is being spoiled because now you can get these huge returns out of nowhere. And now it's this expected value of essentially what you are going to receive. But nothing can be expected, nothing can be guaranteed. And again, if we receive it, it should be considered a blessing for us and at the same time something that we can be able to use going forward. So my point in this whole conversation is to say that what we have now given is an ability to say, hey, look, you know, you had X amount of coins on Ethereum, and now you migrated it over to Polygon, and a lot of you took advantage of that crazy early. But there are many people that are kind of like, you know, well, hey, but you know, I got all those coins, so I should be able to unstake all those coins, right? But logically speaking, if you understand what that means, how in any kind of financial system can you expect all of this to happen when all of this bonus was given to you, right? It can't happen that way. But, and this is my point, but over time, all of those coins that you have now accumulated for free, that you have not put any liquidity into out of your own pocket, that when that energy price gets to its perceived value of where it should be, and the liquidity is much higher, then is when you will all benefit and say, wow, look at that bonus that we were given. And now we have that capability without fear, without any restrictions of basically doing whatever we want to. And so you have to think about pragmatically the future of what's ahead. And so that's what I wanted to just touch on.
Good point, Peter. And so, you know, this is the potential cash flow in buck drops that, you know, the incentivized energy community could receive. This is the possible value that energy could be. Okay. And I'll tell you how I derived this. And this doesn't mean it's going to be this price. We don't know. Okay. We have no idea. But this is probably around the price that it would be. Because what happens is how traditionally how assets are valued in the market is they take a look at what they're producing on a yearly basis in revenue, and they take that times a multiple. Starting off, it's usually a low multiple, like 3, and then you build confidence and the multiple gets higher and higher and higher. And then all of a sudden, you know, 7, 10 years down the line, you build that ultimate confidence because you've proven yourself. And now the multiple gets to be 30 times, okay, the value. So what I did was I took the yearly revenue, the yearly royalties this would generate, okay? I took that times 12 months in a year. This is if StarStake did this monthly, okay? I took that times 12 months in a year, and then I took that figure times 3 years, and it came out to $3, okay? I did it on 10 million. If StarStake does 10 million, I don't think it's going to take long for StarStake to do 1 million. I think everybody agreed. And of course, if it was $3, it wouldn't be there long because not everybody could get it at $3. You know, people would see other people buying it. So, you know, I'm just using this for example purposes. But if there was 10 million that went through StarStake, the value would be $48, and that's taken 220 times 12 and times a multiple of 5 years. And then I divide it by 25 coins, okay? Because that's what takes 25 coins to produce. So I divide it by 25 coins, and this is the value that I project, hypothetical projections for energy. Then I look if 100 million went through StarStake, the value would be about 960 is what I project. 200 times 12 times a multiple of 10 because you've built more trust. Then take that and divide it by 25, and that's 960 in energy. If StarStake did $1 billion a month in revenue, they got that traction. It's gonna take time, keep in mind, because everything takes time. But it's going to take time, but they get that traction finally that does $1 billion a month. You take 2,000, take it times 12, and then take it times a multiple of 15 is what I took it times, okay? That was $14,400 in energy. If 10 billion a month goes through StarStake, 20,000 times 12 times a multiple of 20 equals an energy value of 192,000. Okay. Now StarStake did 100 billion a month. I mean, they got big, years and years and years down the road. Okay. You take 200,000, you take it times 12. I took it times a multiple of 30, and it was 2.88 million per energy. Now, these are just hypothetical projections. They're not to be construed as a guarantee. But I want you guys to know the potential of really what you have, because what you have, if we're successful, which I think we can be, is priceless. What you have are the keys to something. What you have are the keys to freedom, I want you to think about that. Lastly, guys, I want to say that, you know, those who start the race with you, they don't always finish the race with you. A lot of times those who start the race with you don't finish the race with you. But you know what? For those of us who want to finish this race, we're going to go finish this race together. We're going to forge ahead and we're going to take charge. Guys, we started a journey and now we are going to go finish it. We're going to go finish it, and we're going to build value to energy. Guys, we've climbed the mountain halfway. Let's climb it the other half. Let's go to the top. Let's see heights that very few men have reached. And I believe we can do that together as a community. We are one energy.